Brandon Bruce Lee was born February 1st, 1965 in Oakland, California, to martial arts actor and legend Bruce Lee and his wife Linda Emery. The younger Lee learned kung fu from his father and dreamed of following in his footsteps.
I started training with my dad really as soon as I could walk. I mean, that was just how we played at my house. He was deadly fast.
When he was 8 years old, Brandon's life was changed forever when his father died suddenly and mysteriously at 32.
You know, I was only 8 and a half when my dad passed away, so we did a lot of things together. We just didn't have a lot of time to do them in.
He would spend the rest of his life dealing with that death and also struggling to become more than Bruce Lee's son. After leaving high school for misbehavior, Brandon received his GED and set off for Boston, Massachusetts, where he enrolled as a theater major at Emerson College.
I worked. I just supported myself in other ways and went to acting classes, and it's what I wanted to do.
A year later, Brandon moved to New York City, where he took acting lessons and began training in the martial arts under his father's former best friend, Dan Inosanto.
My dad had a circle of students that were close to him, and one of those men, Danny Inosanto, continued to be my teacher.
Mr. Inosanto's studio was Brandon's sanctuary. He spent hours training there, becoming an accomplished martial artist like his father, which came in handy in real life, such as when he confronted a burglar at his apartment.
Took the knife away from him and broke his arm, dislocated his shoulder, broke his nose and his jaw.
In 1985, Brandon left New York for Los Angeles, where he was cast in a small part in Kung Fu the Movie, starring David Carradine.
A coward, a peasant who carries vegetables, an old woman who runs in the night from shadows.
Carradine rose to fame years earlier as the main actor on the television series Kung Fu, which had been developed by Brandon's father. In 1987, Brandon traveled to Hong Kong to make his first feature film, Legacy of Rage, which was made entirely in Cantonese, a language Brandon spoke fluently, having lived in Hong Kong as a child.
In
1988, he starred in his first English-language film, Laser Mission, which was released in the United States in 1990 for the home video market.
Clock's running out. There's no time. You drive.
The arrival of the 1990s augured well for Brandon. In 1990, he met his true love, Eliza Hutton, and the following year, he starred in his first Hollywood film alongside Dolph Lundgren in Showdown in Little Tokyo.
I said you're under arrest.
In 1992, Brandon was cast in his first lead role in Rapid Fire. Although Showdown in Little Tokyo and Rapid Fire were panned by critics and did little to showcase Brandon's acting talents, he was signed to a multi-picture deal with Carolco. In 1992, Brandon read the script for an upcoming film, The Crow.
It's based on an underground comic book, a graphic novella by a guy named James O'Barr. It's about love, death, revenge, and coming back from the dead.
The dark tale of a murdered rock star who takes on the persona of a crow to avenge his girlfriend's death and his own appealed to Brandon since it offered more drama than action.
This is the best role that I've had the opportunity to get my hands on.
He begged his agent to help him land the lead. Prior to filming, Brandon and Eliza traveled to Venice, Italy, where he proposed.
I thought to myself, if I were given the opportunity after a year of having been dead to come back, who would I want to share it with? Who would I want to see? And the person I would want to see would be my fiancée, Eliza, because I'm engaged. I'm getting married after the film.
The Crow, which was filmed in Wilmington, North Carolina, was plagued with problems.
I love you.
Say that again.
I love you.
Ranging from an electrocution that severely burned a technician, to bad weather, to the destruction of a workroom by a disgruntled employee.
I'm not going to kill you. Your job will be to tell the rest of them that death is coming for them. Tonight.
On March 31, 1993, Brandon was filming a scene in The Crow where his character is shot and killed by thugs. A gun that was supposed to fire blanks was not inspected prior to its use, and Brandon Lee was struck in the abdomen with the full force of a .44 caliber bullet. He was rushed to a hospital where he underwent hours of surgery. Brandon Lee was pronounced dead on March 31, 1993. He was 28 years old.
Because we do not know when we will die, we get to think of life as an inexhaustible well. And yet everything happens only a certain number of times, and a very small number, really. How many more times will you remember a certain afternoon of your childhood? An afternoon that is so deeply a part of your being that you can't even conceive of your life without it. Perhaps 4 or 5 times more, perhaps not even that. How many more times will you watch the full moon rise? Perhaps 20. And yet it all seems limitless.
Brandon Lee was buried alongside his father at the Lakeview Cemetery in Seattle, Washington on April 3, 1993. Having learned about death at an early age, perhaps Brandon Lee sensed that his time on Earth was fleeting. His fans mourned the loss of someone so young, vibrant, and beautiful, pondering what could have been. But in his 28 years, Brandon Lee accomplished more than many aspiring actors could even dream to do, and in yet another parallel to his father's life, became a legend.
If you wouldn't mind, I'd just like to say hi to Lisa, my girlfriend, who's waiting for me back at the hotel.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and to hit the bell to be notified of new videos.